When was the last time you committed a crime? No, a better question would be, when was the last time you've done something wrong and you know about it? For me, I guess the last time that I've done something wrong was when I lied to you guys. You know, people, we are all sinners, by the way. We all make mistakes. We all have done something wrong according to our moral standards. If you have one, you will know what I'm talking about. If your standards are that you need to be a good person, you need to not lie, you need to not cheat, you need to love your enemies. When someone done you wrong, you need to forgive them and not start a fight and return an eye for an eye, or you need to honor your parents, you know, those things. Everybody, we have standards, right? We have moral codes, and that's how we function as a society. We need a shared common, I don't know, common lists of things that we should and shouldn't do in order to function and to work together. If there's no laws, if there's no rules in the world, it's gonna be chaos. It's just gonna be a free fall. Everybody's just gonna have their way, and there will not be any sort of harmony, right? So we need some sort of moral code of conduct. So when was the last time you've done something wrong? And I want to ask you a follow-up question. When was the first time you've done something wrong and you know about it? There's a difference between doing something wrong when you do not know about it and doing something wrong and then you later feel ashamed, guilty, when you realize that what you've done is wrong. And for me, that was when I was 4 years old. When I was 4 years old, I was, let's just put it this way. I was pretty spoiled as a little child in Vietnam. Our family was not the richest, but we weren't the poorest either. We were pretty well off. I would put us in the middle class, middle working class. And so I was really spoiled at home. My nickname was Princess. I got it from my uncle because every time that I went to my grandparents' house where my uncles and aunties lived, I would cry when I didn't have my way. If one of my cousins took my toys and didn't return them, or if I lose something, I would cry. And yeah, that's how I got the nickname Princess. I was used to having everything my own way. And so this one time when I was in class, I saw my classmates coming up to class with these Ben 10 figurines. If you're old enough, you will know what I'm talking about. Ben 10, it was a big thing back in the day. It's about this boy who discovered this alien device, and then he got access to all these different alien species, and all these evil alien villains came to Earth looking for this device and created chaos. And Ben 10 was the hero because he fought off these villains. Yeah, so I was really into Ben 10. And I was also really into these little things. I guess you can call them Beyblade. They're not really Beyblade per se. They are sort of like bicycles, but you also insert the key into sort of like a, I don't know how to describe this mechanism, but when you insert the key and then you pull it out, it creates like a spinning motion. And I was really into these little miniature bikes in which you insert the key and you pull it, and then the bike wheel start spinning and you get the bike moving. And it was really cool. And all my friends had that, but I didn't have anything. So I begged my parents, Mom, Dad, I want this, get me this now. um, and of course they didn't want to get me any of that, and so I got really upset. I cried. It sounds silly now, but I'm reliving this moment, and I'm telling you guys this was me back in the days. And yeah, they didn't buy me those things, so I got really upset. So one day, after my mom got back from the wet markets in Vietnam, we have these things called the wet markets, where you go and then you go to a market, and then it's wet because people are always butchering, always cutting up animals and selling meat, fresh meat, after the animal was killed. So yeah, there's always running water to make sure everything is clean. So my mom got back from the no, my mom went to the wet market, and she came back home with some loose change in her purse, and she left it on the windowsill. And when my mom went to the toilet or something, I saw the loose change, and I thought, if my parents are not gonna buy me anything, I'm just gonna get them myself. And so that's what I did. I took the money, loose change, I popped them in my pockets, and then later on when my mom came back, she asked, Bobby, did you see my change this morning? I went to the market, I left them here, where's it? And I said, I lied to her, no, yeah, I don't know where it is, I don't know. And then this happened a few times, and every time I saw money, I would put them in my pockets. I don't care whose money it was, I just put them in my pockets. And then eventually I saved enough money to buy a bunch of these little bikes. We used to have these street vendors outside the school gates when I was in primary school in Vietnam. And children during recess, they would come down there and they would buy snacks or they would buy toys. And so once I've saved up this money, one day I went down to the street vendor with a smile on my face, and I bought these things. I didn't think much about it. I just thought really, I thought I was, I thought really happy thoughts. Yes, finally I get to buy these things. But somehow, I don't know how, my parents found out that it was me who stole the money. They might have seen my toys. They might have seen it in my bag or in my desk drawer. They might have looked through my bag and they found these toys, which came out of nowhere because they didn't buy them for me. So they might have caught me that way. So my dad confronted me, and he gave me a long spiel about stealing and how it's wrong, and then he gave me several lashes. It wasn't that bad. Like it's a long stick, wooden stick, that my dad would use to beat me. It wasn't hard, by the way. It's like hitting you on the buttocks, and it wasn't the pain that broke me. It was the fact that my dad was really disappointed in me. Like, I didn't cry when, no, I did cry. I think I cried the hardest when my dad was confronting me and telling me, son, this is wrong. You've done a wrong thing. This is terrible. You shouldn't be doing it. And that was when I was 4 years old. And when he hits me, it didn't hurt as much as what he said to me, okay? So that was the first time I realized I've done something wrong. I recently read a book about a death row inmate. It's a story. It's not really a real non-fiction thing. It was a story about a death row inmate who was set to be executed. And throughout the whole book, there's this theme that comes up, and that is death row inmates. They shouldn't entertain the thoughts of seeing their families, of doing things that they would do as a normal civilian, such as having sex, thinking about that particular woman, spending time with friends and family. They are advised not to do that because they are about to die, and it's advisable that they don't do that so that they don't enter this state of mind in which they can feel a deep sense of anguish and resentment. I don't know. I don't know why it is that they shouldn't entertain these thoughts. It's quite dehumanizing actually when you're told to not entertain the thoughts that a normal human would entertain. And I get it, like you're about to die at some point in the future, so it doesn't matter anymore. Like, don't think about living, just accept it. But I do not agree with this notion. You see, as a child, at the age of 4, that's when you learn empathy. That's when you learn. That's the kind of things that people would start to learn at the age of 4. And if a child does not know this by the age of 4, it is actually quite hard for him to grow up being a compassionate and empathetic person. And you see a lot of criminals, they had a rough upbringing. Like when they were 4, they were beaten, they were... Oh shit! What the fuck? What the fuck? I think I might have to cut this video short because I think I'm breaking the house. This is as raw as it gets, guys. But yeah, by the age of 4, if you don't learn these things, you're gonna grow up a pretty messed up person, I think. That's why a lot of criminals, they had a rough childhood. When they cried, when they called for attention, they didn't get any attention from the adults. So they didn't learn this skill to be empathetic. And I'm glad that my dad instilled this sense of guilt within me at the age of 4. Because now, I know when I've done something wrong, even though I might not admit it, I know I've done something wrong, and I seek to correct this. I seek to amend the errors with the people around in my life. And I'm not expecting everyone to know this, because you might have a different upbringing to me. And I don't expect every one of you watching this to empathize with me or with the females. That's right, a lot of you commented on my videos saying, oh, all these foids, they don't care about you. They're fucked up. The females in the West, they're fucked up. I don't expect you to have compassion because you might have had a rough childhood. You might not have been dealt a very good hand earlier on in life. And so I have compassion for you. I feel sorry for you. It's not a war between men and women, okay? Have some compassion. Maybe these people, they act this way because they haven't had a very good childhood, okay? That's not a reason for you to hate them. It's more reason for you to love them and to make them, help them thrive and make them become the best versions of themselves. All right, I need to sort out my washing machine dilemma over here. So stay strong, God bless. Remember what our Lord did on this Easter weekend. Yeah, stay strong, God bless. I'll see you next time. Peace.